Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the entire print and cut process. Now, print and cut is one of those things that seems to baffle and confuse a lot of people, either because they're missing certain steps or they're researching print and cut without actually being able to try it because they don't own a silhouette yet. So, one of the most commonly asked questions I see is, can the silhouette print? And the answer to that question is no. The silhouette is simply a die cutter. Now, you can write with your silhouette by replacing the blade with a pen, but in a print and cut design, you are actually going to print using your home printer. So, for this project today, I'm actually going to be using a pre-made print and cut file from the Silhouette online store. And you can tell a print and cut design from a regular design within the Silhouette store by the little P or the little print and cut icon that's located next to each image. Now, to get started, I need to change my cutting surface to 8.5 by 11. Now, you can do print and cut using 12 by 12 or larger if you have a large format printer, but I don't. I only have a standard printer, so I'm going to go ahead to the top right hand corner and I'm going to click on the design page settings menu. And you can see here it says 12 by 12 on a regular Cameo mat. And I'm going to leave this as a Cameo mat because that's what I'm going to use. But I'm going to click here and change this to a letter size, which is 8.5 by 11. Here you can see the page has shrunk down to reflect a letter size piece of paper, which is 8.5 by 11 against a standard size mat. And when I load this in the machine later, I'm going to place the piece of paper on the mat exactly how it appears on the screen. So the next thing I need to do is go ahead and turn on my registration marks. So next to the page design settings option, there is another little rectangle with 4 little squares, or 4 little hatch marks, I guess you could say, and those are registration marks. So I'm going to click down, and you see there's 2 types. There's a type 1 and a type 2, and the one you use depends on the machine you have. I'm using a Cameo, so I'm going to use type 1, but if I was using an original Silhouette with the crank wheel, the one that says quick cuts, or if I was using the old SD model, I would use type 2. So I click that, and now you see these little marks come up in the corner. I have 2 L's in the top right hand corner, and then the bottom left hand corner, and then this little square in the top left hand corner. And this is the little marks that the machine or the Cameo itself is going to look for before it begins cutting. And these little tick or hatch marks are the area where I cannot place a design. So when I go into my library and I open up the design I want to use, I need to avoid this area. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the library. And the design I'm going to be using is this right here, this one that says Valentine's Day Glasses. So I'm going to double click. And it's going to open up on my cutting mat. And it's a little bigger than I want. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink this down. Now, just like a regular print and cut, a regular cut file, you can right click and you can go to ungroup and you can manipulate the pieces separately. But because this is a print and cut design, it's better if I just go ahead and make it all smaller in proportion. Now, you can change the way this design looks in terms of color, but I'm not going to show that in this video. This is just a basic how to print and cut video, but you can ungroup and recolor the interior printed edges of any design that you buy from the Silhouette online store. So once I have these images placed where I want them or sized how I want them, I can go ahead and I can send them to my regular printer. But one thing to keep in mind is once you have decided on how you want your image to look on your screen, you can no longer touch it. So this looks good to me, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the top right hand corner and go to File, and then go down to Print. And I'm not going to touch the design on the digital mat anymore because that is going to affect how my image cuts if I do. So we're not going to touch that. So the printer I'm using is an Epson Workforce, and I'm going to go ahead and hit print, and it's going to come out of my regular printer. Now that I have my design printed out and placed on my mat the exact same way that it appears on the screen, I've gone ahead and I've loaded it in my Silhouette, and now I need to tell the machine to actually find the registration marks and to cut it out. So the first thing I'm going to do is go up to this cut settings menu, And right now it says no cut for selected shape. If I click on it, you'll see that it still says no cut. So I'm going to go ahead and tell it to cut edge so I can make sure everything cuts out as designed, and change it to cardstock because that's what I'm working with. And now my blade is already in the right position, so I'm going to click send to silhouette. And you can see here, and you can also hear in the background, it says registering. So right now, all the machine is doing is looking for the registration marks. Once it finds all 4 registration marks, you're going to see the carriage go back to the home position. And now it says currently cutting. It had switched over. If it doesn't say currently cutting, you may actually have to click start to tell it to go. So I'm going to get this all cut out and I'll show you what the design looks like. So here's what the final product looks like once it's been cut out and taken off the cutting mat. If you have any questions, leave them for me in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching.